Following a healthcare scare, Senator Sanders is heading back to the campaign trail, and former Congressman Beto O'Rourke and Mayor Pete are going at it.
We're back with Deshandra Jefferson, Democratic strategist, and Marshall Kosloff, media fellow at the Hudson Institute and Sagar's other co-host.
That's right. Big competition up here.
Where should we start? So Sanders is going to be at the debate. His ads had been pulled initially after he had to undergo this procedure, stent insertion. All reports are that he's doing quite well, that he's feeling good, and he'll be back on the trail soon. And they've put his ads back in circulation in Iowa. Marshall, what do you think the sort of impact of this moment is for Sanders, and what can he do to get back in the mix here?
I think this is all about narrative. So if there was already this idea that Sanders was unenergetic, which no one has ever accused him of being, that would be devastating. If something like this were to happen to Vice President Biden, especially done completely. But because Sanders already is perceived as this person who has energy, who's out and about, who is confident, I think it's completely survivable.
Yeah, what do you think, Deshandra?
No, I agree. I mean, like, his age has already been factored into the race. People who like him because of his ideas. They like him because of what he's saying, his messaging. They're not concerned about his age. It may hurt him among people who aren't, hardcore, Bernie Bros.
Yeah,
I
right.
said
You can say it. It's all right.
it. Bernie Bros. Everyone's coming after me today. I don't think it's going to hurt him. I pray for him. I hope he's able to get back on the campaign trail soon.
All accounts suggest that. I think the main thing we've been talking about this day after day, which is that what he really needs to do is show and start some sort of contrast in the race. Elizabeth Warren is eating his lunch whenever it comes to money. I'm not saying he's eating his support, but if he wants to fight for that dwindling support of Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and all these other people,
and Biden at this point,
Biden to capture those voters, he has got to go up there and he's got to fight. I mean, his whole thing, Marshall, is I fought for you for 40 years. Why can't he fight in this race? He needs to get, I keep saying he needs to get mean. He needs to go after some people.
Well, it's tough because his position is how he's won, right? Because think about it right now. The way he has shifted the entire Democratic Party to the left on every single one of these issues. So unlike in 2016, if we're talking about him versus Hillary Clinton, he can't simply just say Hillary Clinton is a neoliberal who refuses to engage with the way the party actually is. Now he has 16 other candidates who basically are taking most of his thunder. So it's hard for him, especially because he's not someone who gets personal, and this is to his credit. He talks about ideas. It's hard to do that. He's not going to be there and claim that someone else is weak or ineffective or sort of things like that.
Yeah, no, but I made the case for this week. I think it is not in his nature to directly draw that contrast with other candidates. I'm not talking about Trump-style attacks, little Marco or whatever, but he does need to make the case directly about why him and not Warren, why him and not Biden. Like, he needs to be, he gets slammed so much for being angry and divisive and curmudgeon. He needs to double down on angry and divisive and curmudgeon, because people love him when they see him fight. When they saw him fight with Fox News, they loved him. When they saw him fight with the media, they loved the media lost their
and
mind.
Hillary.
People love
because
it.
That's who he is. And he's authentic. He's not poll tested. He's not polished. He doesn't care. He speaks from the heart. And that's one of the things I really have to give Bernie, is that he is one of the most authentic candidates I have seen in my untold years in politics and media reporting. He is truly, the person you see on the camera is the person he is in person. And people like that. That's refreshing. That's authentic.
People love that.
I do think he should go after Biden. Because he's got to overtake him. He's got to really prove I am the front runner.
And not to mention, we talk about this here all the time. The second choice amongst Biden voters is Bernie Sanders. It actually is a zero-sum game whenever it comes to that. But we should start talking more. There's the battle of the neo-libs, as Crystal has called it. We have a little bit of a sound from Beto O'Rourke taking a shot at Mayor Pete. Let's take a listen.
What Pete has been saying is that a mandatory buyback is the shiny object that is distracting us. How in the world can you say that? I think he represents a kind of politics that is focused on poll testing and focus group driving and triangulating and listening to consultants before you arrive at a position.
Okay, I love so many things about this. First of all, just the specter of these two, going head to head is great. The other thing that's funny, though, is remember, when Beto was running for Senate in Texas, he wasn't doing the gun buyback thing. And remember, this is the guy who's going with, what is he, Medicare for America?
Medicare for America.
I mean, let's be honest, they're both poll-tested, consultant-driven candidates.
Blown dried out.
Yes.
Nice suits, very good, telegenic white men. I did appreciate his comments. I don't know if it's coming out of what he's seen in his own hometown. So I'm going to say that he really feels this right now because it's hit him personally. He's, from El Paso, Texas. I'm going to give him some grace. I'm going to believe that he has evolved on this issue. But I also think it is a little funny that he's going after Buttigieg. Maybe those attacks on him he felt were personal.
Maybe.
And maybe that's why he felt,
the truth, he's irrelevant. I mean, that really is what it is. This is literally just crying for relevancy. And I mean, these are the dwindling days of his campaign. Everybody knows it. I actually think it's weird, Marshall, that he is fighting with Pete Buttigieg. I don't think it makes much strategic sense for him to be
started
doing
it. Let's just put it out there, guys.
Personal honor at this point. No, I mean, it makes
street cred.
I mean, it's just ironic that he's attacking poll-tested and consultancy when the consultants clearly told him you need to compete against a specific person who's in your lane. He's not attacking Elizabeth Warren. He's not attacking Bernie. He's not attacking Andrew Yang. He's attacking the person who he literally needs to attack. So no, I want to be, like you said, we want to be good faith here, and the Texas stuff is really serious, but it's unfortunate that it took him this long to make things this personal. It took him this long to find an issue that, unfortunately for him, appears a little convenient.
Well, I think that's a good point because that's part of the problem with Beto is like he thought that this enthusiasm around him for Senate translated into something else, and as soon as the spotlight was really on him, it became very clear that he hadn't really thought through where he stood, what he thought. He didn't have that vision formed and coalesced. And so I think that, between Pete and Beto, it wouldn't surprise me that Beto feels a little bit of jealousy of Pete, who has had all the elites gather around him. The elites that Beto, when he was doing Vanity Fair and going on Oprah and whatever, they were taking a look at him. He thought those people were all going to coalesce around him, and instead they've gone over to Pete. So it doesn't surprise me that emotions are a little raw there.
I'm sure ego is, a killer. And so is overconfidence.
No.
I mean, I'm just,
Of course we had to go there. No, I mean, look, they're both the competitors on the Vanity Fair project.
They're in the Vanity Fair lane.
They really are the Vanity Fair election, right? I mean, and these guys both represent just the complete emptiness of these people's politics. And they told Beto, they said, Beto, only you can do it. Only you. You raise more money than that. The truth is, because he was a creation of them. They created him, and they sold a myth to thousands of people in Silicon Valley and in Manhattan that this guy who stands for nothing but talks nice could actually win.
He's supposed to be the next Obama.
But that's why. But this is what we love to do in America. We'll build them up and we'll tear you right down.
Yeah, I mean,
they weren't ready for the tear down.
I'm ready for tearing down.
Here's the thing. And here's the thing that we're talking about everything today. It's about ideas. If we're talking about Bernie, it's because Bernie is talking about socialism. Andrew Yang is talking about automation and jobs and the fear that people fear. I think that Beto has just failed to identify something that people deeply feel beyond we don't like Ted Cruz, which almost worked, but that's not enough now that he's running for president. That's
not a national election. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Great.
Next week on Rising, newly unearthed documents reveal the Obama administration quashed the FDA's attempt to ban flavored vape cigarettes. We're going to take a look at the powerful lobbying interests that helped kill regulation attempt.
And the man who describes himself as America's most watched black independent media on the left, Tim Black, is going to join us. Excited about that one. Don't forget to check out this weekend's episodes of Rising Q's and The Week. And while you're on our YouTube page, like and subscribe. Guys, we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. Big milestone. We just started this a few months ago, so thank you. But make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all our social channels. Have a great weekend.